What's going on, guys? Daniel here. Minutes about Amazon Flex. So maybe you already joined, got through the whole process already, and you're wondering what to do, what the next steps are. Or maybe you're looking into maybe doing it. You've heard about it, you're not sure how it works, and you want to see if it's a good idea. Well, I've been doing it since November 6th of 2019, so a little over 2 years, roughly. And I'm just going to kind of go over my things that I've enjoyed about it, what I don't like about it, and just kind of different aspects of the job. So I've done 1,963 regular packages, so kind of what you guys order your standard packages from Amazon. I've done 105 Whole Foods, which is just kind of food items, same kind of process, slightly different pickups, but we can talk about that later. I signed up for Amazon Flex. You'll be seeing a bunch of these blocks pop up, and next to it will be an amount. So for example, from 5 to 8 o'clock, which is a 3-hour shift or a 3-hour block, and you can get paid between $54 and I've seen as high as $100. So you can kind of do the math. You can take 3 hours divided by 3 and so forth. However, that's not always the case. Now, what I mean by that is you could work faster than those 3 hours, but you'll get paid the same. So just to make it easy for kind of math calculations, let's say you worked a 3-hour shift and you were getting paid $10 an hour. If you worked 1 hour and finished all your packages, you're not expected to go back to the site, pick up more packages, and keep going. You are done. So you could potentially get paid 3 hours worth of work and less. So this is kind of the incentive to keep working fast, kind of move at a faster pace. Not speed or anything like that, but just move at a faster pace. So I know when I first started, I was a little bit slower because I was still getting used to all the instructions and how everything worked, and just kind of finding street addresses in general. And I found myself not usually working the whole 3-hour blocks. Sometimes I got close, but if something really bad happened, couldn't find the house or couldn't find the package, misplaced it, or something weird happened, then I got pretty close to that 3-hour mark. But normally, I would finish about 2 hours. So you can always, in your mind, you can always think, oh, if I'm working $50 and I'm only working 2 hours, 2 hours out of the 3, you can make more money per hour if you think of it that way. So I find blocks to be the easiest to do if you're first starting out. So the way blocks work is you pick a block that works in your schedule. So let's say you're working at 5 to 8 in the evening time for, $50, $80 or whatever it is, because it's constantly changing. I know for me, I will constantly look and refresh because the prices change all the time. And for me, I always wait till it's usually above like $70. That's just my preference, because you can always pick up small dinky shifts for like $50, $54, something like that. But if you wait until the evening time, or you can just look at ahead, the prices change all the time. So you could be working the same shift as someone else, but because of the time that you accepted it, they could be getting paid $20 or $30 more. So if you want more questions about that, just feel free to message me. Anyways, moving forward, let's go and talk about those blocks. So you go in your app, select the time you want, and the nice thing is the app tells you everything that you need to do. It tells you where to go, where to travel. The only thing that sucks is it's really, really slow. It lags a lot. It's not very efficient. It'll freeze during shift, so it kind of sucks to use, but it does have its benefits. So you get into your car and you are driving to your pickup site. So there's multiple pickup sites. So when you look at your block, the schedule of the different times, you'll see that there's an hour, there's a time, and then there's like a little 4-digit kind of mix of numbers and letters. That's the pickup sites. So depending on where you live, you might be better off going to a certain pickup site than the other, just based on how far you have to drive. Now you can take those numbers. So for example, DPD4 is one of them that's near me. You could type it into Google and it'll pop up for you, and you can just see how far it is. So that can help distinguish where you want to go. Sometimes you might look at the schedule and see that, oh, these are both the same shift, but if I drive 10 minutes farther, I could get paid another $30 just by going to this pickup site. That might be something that you want to look into. I know for me, so I live in Oregon, and there's 2 sites next to me. There's a Portland one, and there's a Tualatin one. Amazon Flex warehouses, I guess I should have called it better. I would stay away. Now, this is my personal preference. I hate going to the Portland one. I find their warehouse to be small. The houses or locations I go to are usually more crummy. Parking's harder. I just have less pleasurable times at the Portland one. I don't want to sound like privileged or anything like that, but I like going to the Tualatin one because the neighborhoods are nicer. I kind of get to see the big, beautiful homes, and I kind of feel like I'm traveling almost a little bit. I'm going to see different parts of the state that I've never seen before. And yes, I'm just dropping off packages, but ever since I've been going to the Tualatin location, I've just found it more enjoyable. The warehouse is much nicer. It's less compact, so you have a lot more room to store things. I don't know. I just find it more easier, and since they both pay around the same, I'd rather drive 5 more minutes to go to the Tualatin location than I would the Portland one. That's just my preference. Like I said, I've done both of them. I actually did about the first year at the Portland location till the Tualatin location opened up, and then I started going there. But, try it out. Maybe you'll like it better. I don't drive in downtown Portland a lot, or Portland or that kind of area. So for me, Portland is not more challenging. It's just a little more, I have to put a little more mental power into it because I have to kind of think more on my feet, whereas the other ones are a little bit less likely where you have to do that. So moving forward, you pull up to the site, and there'll be these long lines of cars. There's always going to be cars there. It's very rarely that you see no cars there. So you just follow the cars in, and there'll be a person waiting with a little rolling cart, and they will ask you, how long is your block? So 3.5 hours, 4 hours. I don't think there's a 5, but there probably could be. I've never seen it where I live. So I usually do the 3.5, or sometimes 4, depending on how much they are. Because there can be a 4-hour block for $81, or for $79 a 3-hour. So I'm like, which one do I want to do? So you roll up. Sometimes they'll check your ID. They're supposed to, but sometimes when they get busy enough, they just take your word for it. Or if they know you, they'll, I like to greet everyone by their name so that we can kind of build like a little bit, not like a friendship, but more that they know me, kind of make the process more smooth. They're always working hard. They help me out when there's issues, and I want them to know that I appreciate them. So you drive in. Now with COVID, you have to wear your mask. No shocker. If you don't have it, they'll provide it for you. And they'll check your ID, ask your name, and then they'll tell you what lane to go to. If you're in smaller warehouses, there won't really be lanes for you to go. They'll just tell you to go, and you'll know. You just can't miss it. So you drive up to your lane, and they'll have these carts. The carts will be standing, and you'll just drive up to it, park, and you're almost ready to start loading your packages. So you put it in park, you check in on your app that you're there, and it's going to ask you to scan route code. So on your cart, where you're going to see a bunch of different packages, there might be 40, there might be envelopes, it's all random. It's completely random. You'll never get to pick what route you're going to. You'll never get to pick how many packages or size, nothing like that. It's completely random. No matter what time slot you pick, the site will be completely random. You can get paid the same amount, but one person travels 30 minutes and one person travels right around the corner to start delivering packages. It's completely random. So when you get out of your car, the route code is going to be on a piece of paper. Normally it's colored like a blue or a green. Sometimes it's just white. And it's usually hanging off a package. So you pick it up, and you'll see in the top right corner of that piece of paper your block hours. So 3.0, 3.5, 4, whatever it is. Now, there's times where you'll go in and you have a 3-hour, and they don't actually have any 3-hour blocks, so they'll give you like a 2.3, which is fine. So you scan the code, your app will pull up all the packages for you. So that's right there where you can see, oh, I have 34 packages today. And if you get really fancy with it, like you start working for Amazon a lot, you can start picking up just by looking at the piece of paper where you're going to be delivering. I personally just don't care. I'm like, take my packages, let me go. Packages pop up, and you start scanning away. So it'll say at the bottom, 0 of 40 packages scanned. So then you start scanning. Boop, boop, boop. Now, on the boxes itself, there's a little yellow sticker. Now, if you buy things from Amazon, you'll see it all the time. Each number, so there's 2 sets of numbers. They're both different. It's kind of random how they go in the box. I prefer the one that shows 1-1. I'll explain that in a second, rather than the one that's like 1400 or 1300. So let's say you pick up the first box and it says 1-1 on that yellow sticker. That 1 is representing the stop. So for example, that 1 means stop number 1. Let's say your next package is 3. That box is at stop number 3. So in your mind, you're thinking, okay, this is package number 1. I want to keep this close to me because this is the first package that I'm going to have to grab. Or when you're stacking them, you don't want to put it on the bottom because you're going to have to dive through all those packages. You're going to want to put it at the top. So 1-1 means that there's at this one stop, one package. There's times where you'll go to one stop and there'll be multiple packages. So the first number won't change, it'll be 1, but the second number could change. So it could be 1-2, 1-3, 1-4, 1-5. So if one person has 6, or not person, could be a company, you never know. Let's say this first stop has 6 packages. It will say 1-1 for the first package, 1-2 for the second, and so forth. So you'll know that these packages go together. So in packing your car to help with efficiency, you want to kind of look at the numbers that you're getting. So when you pick up your box and you're scanning it, oh, 1-1, this is close. I'm gonna put it in the front right seat. So how I pack my vehicle, so I drive 2 cars. I drive a Toyota Camry and a Ford Freestar. It's a minivan. I recently got the minivan to see if it kind of is helpful, because you can get larger shifts with more packages. You can just accept larger packages. And I'm kind of on the fence about it, but I'll get back into that later. I'll talk about that with issues on the road and what to bring. So when I'm stacking or building my car, if I'm in the driver's seat, the passenger seat next to me, I put packages between 1 and 10, if it allows. Sometimes the packages are too big, or sometimes they're small enough and it's perfect. And I try and put the package or stop 10, 9, 8 at the bottom, and so forth up. So when I'm in my car, I drive up to the house or apartment or wherever I'm at, and I can just park it, look over, grab the package, scan it, and then get out of my car, and it just helps with efficiency. Back left of my car, I have 11 through 20 or 21, depending on how many packages I get. And like I said, it's just to help. Oh, pulling up to a site on the app, it'll tell you what stop you're going to be at. Oh, 11-12. Okay. So I'm at stop 11, so I know it's going to be my back seat, right? Back right, I try and put 20 to 30s, and then the trunk 30 to 40s. Now, if all them between 11 and 30 packages fit back seat, perfect, put in the back seat. If all 11 through 40 fit in the back seat, perfect, I'll put all of them in the front. That's just to help me organize. Now, like I said, the app is pretty slow, but once you get used to it, it gets pretty fast. The reason why I think blocks are the easiest to start off with is because there's not a lot of steps or trickery to it. You drive in, you talk to someone, they tell you where to go, you have your cart, you scan your cart. You don't have to worry about if the package is not there. There's an Amazon employee, they take it off your route real fast. You just tell them that you're missing it and they'll walk you through it. And you scan your packages, they're all right there in the cart. You load it in your car, you're good to go. This helps you kind of learn the steps on the phone, because most processes, wherever you're going, Whole Foods or Prime Now, haven't talked about those yet. Same process, you scan the package, you put it in your car. So I like doing blocks. They don't make as much money as instant offers or Whole Foods. I'll get into that later. But I think blocks are a good way to start. Now, just to kind of get into Whole Foods and Prime Now. Prime Now is where you have the 2-hour shipping. So you go to a site, pick it up, just like any other. But let's get into Whole Foods real quick. I personally think Whole Foods makes the most money for your time. And the reason why is because tips. So Amazon, by default, when people are buying food, they have a $5 kind of base already put in their tip. Now, people can change that. But if people don't notice it, that means for each stop that you do, it's possible that you'll get $5 out of that trip. So, for example, Whole Foods, you don't have as many stops, but you have more packages per stop. So the other day, I had 30 packages for 8 stops, just to kind of put it in mind. So let's say you have one stop with 6 packages. It's nice because you're not having to stop and go as much. However, what I've noticed with Whole Foods is your routes are more spread out. So your duration of driving might be longer, and the mileage you go, it's a little bit longer. But I think the amount that you get kind of trumps that negative. So your base pay, so when you look at your blocks, right, your block time will be 5 to 8, just like we were talking about before, $70. You get that $70 no matter what. No matter how many hours you work, 3 hours, 2 hours, whenever you're done with the packages, you're done. You get paid that. With Whole Foods, you have a base pay, and then they have another number, which they estimate the tip amount. So that first number is your base pay. That is what you're going to get regardless. So let's say you're working, let me think of one, 7 to 9. 2-hour shift, $36. That's your base pay. Now, the tip amount could be $36-84. That means it's estimated that you could get $84. Now, you could get more or less. And there's a lot of different factors that could help increase or decrease that number. So you have 8 stops, 40 packages. Maybe you drive 50 miles, 70 miles, really random. So you go there, you go to the Whole Foods. Now, this is where it gets a little trickier because you have to actually find the items in their coolers. So on the app, if you're doing a Whole Foods pickup, it will say like chiller 16A or freezer 0B. You have to find within that freezers your package. So then you have to scan it and then put in your tiny little cart, because Whole Foods has really tiny carts. I hate it. It's awful. For like 30 packages, 40 packages. Actually, I don't think I've ever had a 40 package Amazon Whole Foods, but you're taking like 3 carts at one time. It's just awful. And you can only fit like, I don't know, 8 or 9, depending if there's fragile items or not. Terrible. Whole Foods, you suck for that. You should build a whole cart, like a regular standard cart. So that's one thing that's troublesome about Whole Foods. Also, if you run into issues, Whole Foods personnel aren't really Amazon helpers. They're more for the Whole Foods side, so they can't really help you with the app or anything. Now, something I didn't mention yet at all, regardless if you're doing blocks, Whole Foods, or Prime Now, you will have in the top right corner a little question mark button, and you can always call driver support, so they can always help you. I haven't used it too much. I don't remember when I first started off, I used it a lot. I remember I used it a lot when I had trouble like finding a house or something was damaged, but other than that, I haven't really used them. And yeah, so that's something to be noted of. That's why I said blocks I'm glad I started with blocks, because I was able to kind of make routines for myself and problem solve prior to that. So when I got to Whole Foods, I had issues. I already kind of had solutions in place to figure it out. So Whole Foods personnel, they help you find like food items that go into the bag, or if they can't find the bag. But if it comes to like, it's not there on the app or something glitched, that's something Amazon helps with, which they are not there to help you with. So just to talk about Whole Foods a little bit more, I find it more beneficial because of the tip amount. I've worked shifts where I got paid $36, but then tips ended up being like 60 or 80, and I only worked 2 hours. So there's been quite a few times where I worked 2 hours and I made $100 because the tips were so much. So if you are looking to make more bang for your buck, Whole Foods is the way to go. If you're just starting out, I recommend doing blocks first and then Whole Foods. But like I said, your choice. Whole Foods, I find it actually a little more challenging to pack in the car, because I sometimes don't want to crush items in there, because that and then affects your tips. Because if people have a bad experience, who are they going to blame? You, because they think you're doing everything wrong. If something breaks in the bag, you didn't even know about it. They're going to take it out on, not take it out on you, but oh, this was crappy, I'm going to take out my tip. So, that being said, Whole Foods, that's what I prefer. My minivan is what actually I like to use for the foods, because I like to spread them out, since there's a lot of packages that go to the same spot. So in my van, I'll pop open the van, and on the bag itself, I have like little weird sayings like Apple, Jack, Burn, Red, and that's to help me distinguish the packages that go to the same stop. So on the bag, it will say 1 to 7, 1 of 7, and it will say red. So I know that there's gonna be 7 packages at this one stop for red. So whenever I pull out of my cart, when I get to my car, anything that says red, I put them all together. I actually put them in a straight line, so I can literally count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that they're all there. And I do that for all of them. So sometimes there's 1 of 2. So I'll put the 2 together. I think the biggest I've had is 12, so 1 of 12, so I'll put all 12 together. Sometimes I make 2 rows. But you'll figure it out with time, which best fits for your car. And like I said, it's all based on your car, so it all kind of changes. I personally use Whole Foods, my van, and Blocks I use my car. Kind of should be vice versa because you drive more for the Whole Foods, but I find it easier just to pull out the packages and I don't have to stack the bags or groceries on top of each other. What to bring on your trip to Amazon? I like to bring a hat or a beanie with a headlamp. One's for sun, one's for nighttime driving to see packages. You just push the little button on your forehead, and actually I should probably show you guys. Let me go get it. Here's my beanie. I'm gonna put it on real quick. Oop. The reason why I like this one for nighttime driving is because boom, push the light on, right? Packages, I don't have to have like a flashlight to scan the code. I use my phone, scan it, and then when I'm walking at night to the people's house, I don't have to have a flashlight pointing down. So it keeps kind of one hand free. Turn this off. Keeps one hand free so I don't trip and fall. Which I've never fallen, but I've definitely kind of slid a couple of times. So flashlight, headlamp, hat. You'll get a vest with Amazon. You don't have to get your own. I like to carry a pen just in case. I like to put little notes in the box. Code didn't work or had trouble finding it or just anything. I like to keep a little pen in my vest. Gloves. I like to wear gloves for COVID reasons. If you're doing Whole Foods, you may have to check ID, so you'll have to grab a driver's license. So I like to have a glove on. That way it kind of shows them that I'm representing, I'm not touching, my hand on your thing. And then when I get to my car, I can just rip off the glove and don't have to worry about always hand sanitizing. Hand sanitizer is still nice too, by the way. Charger. Always want to bring a charger. Amazon Flex. If you don't charge it while you're driving, drains your battery. I remember before I got my new phone, I think it killed like half my battery life. Way to track your mileage. So another thing to bring is either a clipboard. I use Google Drive spreadsheet. I just have a date, start mileage, end mileage. That helps at the end of the year when you're tracking your mileage because, as you will find out, Amazon Flex, you're independent contractors, so they do not take out taxes. But mileage is one thing that does help. So when I leave my house, I put the starting mileage. When I leave, I put the ending mileage. Water, talking a lot. I probably should have brought water since I was talking a lot now. But I usually bring 2 things of water. Sometimes 1 sugary, so like a Gatorade or something, because you kind of sometimes I feel like, I'm dragging a little bit. So the bad issues on the road. Like I said, this is my opinion. These are real life or things that I could see happening. If anything happens, you are screwed. And what I mean by that is Amazon will always take the customer side, no matter what. Let's say you are delivering a package to someone. It says their garage on the instructions. You put it in the garage, and the person said front door. And they made a mistake. They'll mark down the delivery, and you'll get deducted for quality of delivery. Nothing you did wrong. You could even, nothing you could do wrong. It just happens. Let's say COVID times. You are delivering a package to the front door. Someone opens up. Maybe your mask fell down a little bit. Maybe they didn't see your mask. Maybe they didn't like your mask. Maybe they thought you got too close. They report you for not wearing a mask during COVID. Nothing you can do. They report you for it. You can ask for proof of hey, I got reported for not wearing a mask during COVID. Can you prove it? Because I always wear a face mask. Amazon will always take the customer side, saying we cannot provide you any proof at this moment. If it keeps happening again, they'll suspend your account. I think that's dumb. I always wear a face mask, even though I wear glasses. So what I've gone to kind of out of my way to make sure that I'm right is I wear this body camera, and this is so I can keep track of everything. So I start at the end of my shift, or start at the beginning and end of my shift. So if anyone says I got close to them or I put in the wrong spot, I can always bring it up. Not that it's going to help me because Amazon will always take their side. But if anything happens, if anything goes wrong, you are screwed. There's no fighting your case. You'll not get any support from Amazon. You are on your own. Sucks. But luckily, it doesn't happen all the time. With COVID, you'll kind of get, at least in Oregon, you'll get a lot of people that get really high and tired about the masks being on. But that's Oregon, blue state. No shocker there, right? So I know a little bit political, but not supposed to be. But just wear your face mask all the time. It'll be fine. That happened to me personally. Someone said I was not wearing a mask during a route, which I always wear one. I asked Amazon to prove it to me, and they said we cannot provide any proof at this time, even though they said they had some. So next time there's an issue, they're gonna get one of these guys. They're gonna get the video. So that's one thing I don't like about Amazon is they always take the customer side. From the customer standpoint, that's fantastic because if there's anything wrong, you just report it and you get your money back or a free product or whatever, which is kind of their whole scheme of things, I suppose. So that's kind of the biggest thing that I've ran into. There'll be other issues on the road. There's one day I've never had, it's only happened once out of the entire 2 years I was driving. I scanned a package. The label on the package came up different in the phone. So on the package, it said like 5-5, so stop 5, 5th package. And on the app, it showed that it was the next stop, but the name on the envelope was for the stop after that. It was really weird. Was on the line for customer service for, I think, like 30 minutes before we kind of both gave up. Kind of way complicated to explain in the video how I figured that one out. But you can always bring a package back to the warehouse. Just know that. If you don't feel comfortable delivering a package to a house or you can't find it, which I've had that happen many times, you can always bring it back to where you picked it up. So with that being said, I went to a place once where the app took me to a location, but the house was on the other side of a fence, and I was kind of on the middle of nowhere, and I didn't quite know how to get there. So I kind of drove around guessing how to get there, but I could never get to the house. So I do not recommend this, but I literally just jumped the fence. It was like a huge landline. I mean, I literally walked, I don't know, like 20 minutes to get to this person's house. I literally just walked over to the fence, jumped over the fence because it was really falling over, delivered the package, and then walked back. Now, that's a little bit of extreme. Me, I try not to go back to the warehouse because that's kind of like lost time. But you can always drop off the package back at the warehouse. I'm just thinking if that's everything. One thing that I've heard a lot of people have asked, what are some things that people can do to help drivers, delivery people? And I think, this, like I said, my opinion, is if you live in a house with a driveway, putting your cars on the opposite side of the pathway, so we don't feel like we have to worry about hitting your car with the package. Sometimes we have really large packages. So kind of making sure we have a clear pathway to the door. Now, I'm not saying like you have to move everything, have spotlights on every spot. But just a pathway, like a regular walking pathway, so I don't have to worry about hitting your car with a package. Shoes in the dark. Or if you have to turn a corner to get to your front door, but you can't see the bottom, and then you put something there, like a pot or a plant. Moving that's helpful because sometimes we don't see it, especially when we're on the go at nighttime. Which leads me into my second point. Lights on. Lights outside are super helpful for two reasons. One, it just helps you see things in general. You can see shoes, rugs, mats, other packages, etc. But also, for us scanning the package, it doesn't take as long. So let's say you don't have a flashlight, you don't have a mask like mine, and it's pitch dark. Person has their lights off outside. When you take the photo that you're delivering the package, your phone will have to turn on the flashlight, process the image, flash the light, then snap the picture, process the picture before you can submit it. I know it doesn't sound like a long time. It takes like about a whole 10 seconds. But when you do 10 seconds times 40 packages, it adds up. Whereas the light, if the light's on, you can just look at the package, push the button, it snaps the picture. I would take 2 seconds, and then you can walk away and, you know, submit the photo. I find it easier with the light on, safer for me. I feel more comfortable. Sometimes I don't like wearing the beanie because sometimes you get, you know, when you start moving and grooving, you get really sweaty. So having the light on is nice, makes things faster. I feel safer. Having the goodies is also nice. I love the people that leave water. Sometimes chips. I like kind of smaller items, not necessarily like chocolate bars, but just that kind of size, just because it's quick grab and go, open, eat it, and then you can throw it away. But water's great. There's been times I ran out of water. Never any juices though. If people are watching this, juices. But juices would be awesome. But that's just kind of my take on Amazon Flex. I've been doing it for a while. I honestly enjoy it most days. I find it awesome to kind of travel my state, look at different houses and beautiful homes, and just kind of see different scenery. Definitely wouldn't have seen so much of Oregon if it wasn't for Amazon Flex. I've had some interesting experiences, things I've never seen before, and honestly, I would do this again over any kind of minimum wage job any day of the week. The lowest that I'll ever get paid is $18 an hour. Now, if you think about it, before taxes, after gas, you're probably making like 15. But that's the lowest that you'll ever make. And I rarely work 18 an hour ever anymore. Just because the shifts are so much higher because of the density of shipments we have around here. But I love it. Once you get used to it, it's super simple. You hop in the car, you're able to problem solve on your own. You get to meet friendly people, sometimes not. I've never had people pull weapons on me or anything like that. I only had to jump the fence once. That was a little bit early on in my career. You pick the hours when you want. And yeah. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comment section. If you have questions about it, you can DM me directly. I can make another video answering that question if a lot of people have questions about it. You can email me, and then we can reach out and I can just talk to you one-on-one, either on the phone or email, etc. if you have any other questions about it. Side note, I actually thought it'd be a good idea if Amazon came up with a thing where they had someone ride with them for the first time. So I have someone in my life who is thinking about doing Amazon Flex due to the times that we're living in. And I actually took them along with me and kind of showed them the whole step so they'd feel more comfortable with it. Because at first, it's kind of a lot thrown at you. Because you have the basic houses, right, that you just put the package out the front door. You have Amazon lockers, where you have to go to this hub. That's what they're called. They have names. And you actually, now it's all different steps. You have to unlock the locker with the package, put the package in there, and then close it. Like I said, it doesn't sound bad, but the first time kind of gets a little nerve-wracking. Apartment complex, whole nother monster. I hate apartment complexes because they can get so complicated with the numbers. Sometimes the address is the apartment number. So like the last 2 numbers are the apartment number on it, which gets confusing because you roll up and you see apartment complex, but it doesn't give you an apartment number and you're like, what the heck? Where do I go? I honestly, I can't think of like a super terrible time. Yeah. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like, comment if you like the video. If you want me to go into something more in depth, feel free to shoot a message. And I just wanted to let you know I'm not sponsored by anyone. I wasn't sponsored for the camera or the headlamp. I can throw that in the description if you guys want to look into it. I just wanted to kind of talk about my experience with Amazon. Hope you guys enjoyed the video.